and welcome to the Barrel Room Podcast, your front row seat to the world of whiskey and bourbon. I'm your co-host, Brian Bisking. In every episode, Kenny Gales and I are pouring up something worth talking about. From small batch standouts to big label legends, we sip, review, and break it all down one pour at a time. We'll talk tasting notes, tell stories, give the occasional review on real-life experiences, and every now and then bring on a special guest from the industry to share a great story along with a great bottle. This podcast is made possible by a generous support of our sponsors. Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits, crafted in honor, shared in remembrance. The Barrel Room Bourbon Club. Pull up a chair. We're waiting for you on the inside. And Grillo's Chop and Barrel, where great whiskey meets great meat. So have yourself a pour, sit back and watch, or listen as we dive into this week's episode of the Barrel Room Podcast. Welcome to the Barrel Room Podcast. I am your co-host, Brian Bisking.
And I am Kenny Gales, founder of Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits and co-host of the Barrel Room Podcast as well.
We have a special guest tonight, somebody I recently met probably in the last 6 months, but became, I would consider, a good friend here as of late. Unbelievable store in Lake St. Louis. If you don't know him, his name is Mike Grillo.
How's it going? I have Grillo's Chop and Barrel in Lake St. Louis. That's where I met you recently. Yeah. We specialize fine meat and whiskey. I mean, there's not a whole lot that we need outside of that.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think we go back a little bit farther than that.
We do. Yeah, we've done a couple barrel picks together.
A couple barrel picks, Barrel King and Old Dominic.
Yep. Both were outstanding.
Fantastic.
One of them sitting right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And those barrel picks, actually helped out our fire district as well. So our community outreach, which gives back and provides wheelchair ramps and housing for people that have lost their house in a fire and stuff like that. So, like I said, we appreciate your support as
Absolutely,
well.
So it's always a good time.
Yep.
Get to go pick out your own barrel of whiskey and drink some whiskey.
It's awesome.
It's
and
a good
then
time.
It's always a good time when Dusty's there too. You never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
Dusty's special, So
He is.
We love him though.
Yep.
Yeah, so Grillo's Chop and Barrel, and then Birdies and Barrel, which is literally right next door. They're in Lake St. Louis off Ronald Reagan. If you haven't been there, their website is chopandbarrel.com. You can also find them. They are a sponsor of the Barrel Room Podcast and the Barrel Room Bourbon Club. So tonight we're excited to sample a few bottles that Mike has sold at his store. All the bottles you see here have been sold at his store that we've picked up over time, and he's brought a couple for us to sample. And I think the first one we're going to sample tonight, as we asked Mike some questions about how he got started, is a Middle West Pumpernickel Rye, which, if you guys watching know me, what do I hate? I hate rye. But I will tell you, when I was at the store a couple weeks ago, Grillo made me try it, and he was right. It's pretty darn good.
And I'm pretty excited to try this one as well.
It's not your peppery hot rye that I don't like.
And if you know me, I'm a rye guy.
Yeah, if you know Kenny.
Yeah.
Obviously, his last release was a rye. I might have helped pick that release, and I still don't like it.
I love it. It's my favorite one. That's the problem.
Well, so this one is, I've been excited to do a pick from them with their Pumpernickel Rye for a long time. Their regular release Pumpernickel Rye is, I think, like 95 proof or somewhere right around there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just killer. It's good. They're the only distillery in the country that uses the Pumpernickel Rye grain for their mash. So it provides a totally unique complex and different note complex than any other rye that I've had personally. I don't know. Personally, for me, kind of what it does is it gets like a more of like the chocolatey, malty kind of notes to it than what I get from like a standard rye when you kind of talk about like that white pepper kind of spice or that quote unquote burn that some people tend to get. But
dill,
it's dill or minty or florally sometimes.
Willet does it's super floral.
Yeah, very floral. Yeah.
Yeah, this has it's a sweeter note than
love it
most ryes that I've had. Now, Zangiese will tell you that the old Louisville 8-year rye that they have with Bourbon Society is pretty sweet, but this is sweet.
Yes, this is very
hands down.
Yeah. What's nice about them though is that they've been on their own distillate from the time they opened. So a lot of places will source, when they first opened. From day one, they've been distilling their own stuff.
Where are they out of?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, and so they try to source as many grains locally as they can as well. And then they also just recently acquired Old Elk. I don't know if you guys heard that or not.
I did not know
They
that.
just bought Old Elk, which is
We were just talking about
wild because the story from Old Elk was two billionaires basically paid Greg Metz, who was the master distiller from MGP when MGP was massive. And then they basically were like, here's a check, write what number you want on it. And he went over to start Old Elk with these two guys. And I guess it turns out you need more than just money to run a successful business. I guess I don't know the whole story, you know. But yeah,
I don't know. I hope not, because I'm trying to do the same thing.
Right?
Like, I don't have that.
But you're not a billionaire.
I don't have
at least I don't think so, man.
No, I'm nowhere near that. No, I'm just a fireman.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit about Grillo's Trap and Bill. We'll start there. Talk to us about where did the idea come from to even open the store? Why Lake St. Louis? What's your ties here to our community? And then kind of where is the store came from when you first opened it to where it is now?
Well, and also before that, why did you transition from the fitness industry? Because I knew you were in the fitness industry. Why did you transition to whiskey and meat and all that whole aspect?
So we actually opened in September of 2020, which was right in the middle of COVID.
I got married in March of 2020.
So our youngest, my son Braxton, was born February of 2020. Right before towards the end of February. So right before all the COVID craziness happened, which we got lucky there. But then in March, I got furloughed from my job in the fitness industry, and I was in the education side of it. So I wasn't in a revenue generating position. So I got furloughed, and then I was like, we'll see how things go. So I gave it like 3 weeks, and then it got worse, and I was like, I don't think this is going to work out for me. So my wife and I had talked about opening a meat market for a while, just never really took the leap. And so it just took a pandemic to make us, really go for it. Right. Which, whatever. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. We live in Lake St. Louis. We're like 2 miles away from the shop, and there was just nowhere good to get like good solid meat from anywhere around there. It was like all we had close was Schnucks or Walmart, and like it's just not the same. So we decided to open the meat market, and we talked and like, what cool other thing can we put in with the meat market? And we thought, what a better thing to put in there than whiskey, which is something that I loved before I opened the shop. Okay, so like, it was kind of a fun little thing that differentiated us and made us a little more niche than your standard meat market. But like, come to find out after I opened, like now I see on my feed all the time, I see like meat market that specializes in meat and whiskey all the time. They're like all over the country. I'm like, well, here I thought I was doing something like super unique for our area.
You are still super unique for our area, I'd say. I mean, the closest meat market, true meat market, in my opinion, that we have would be Menino's, either in Flint Hill or Cottleville.
Yeah.
And even other than that, there's nothing close. And they don't specialize in anything other than meat. I mean, and
they're more of like a grocer.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. I knew that we didn't want to do that. I knew that's not what I wanted to do, was the grocer side of it. And I just really wanted to supply like just really good homemade like recipes. So everything in the shop, we make in the shop. We do all of our own recipes. We make all of our own sides. So it's been super wild to see it grow. I mean, we've definitely had customers from the day we opened that are still there. Mm-hmm. And when we opened, I think our shelves probably had like 50 or 60 different SKUs of bourbon and maybe like 10 SKUs of wine. And I mean, you've been in there and you've seen how crowded the shelves are, and I've expanded those shelves and I've expanded them again. And so
I remember
the counters covered in bourbon. Yeah. So there's like 200 to 220 SKUs of bourbon in there at any given time now. Crazy. So like that's grown a lot. But it's like when we opened, I was nickel and dime and everything, man. It was just like our savings, I didn't take a loan out for a bunch of money. And we kind of nickel and dimed everything. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to buy 2 bottles of all of these things, and I'm going to sell those 2 bottles, and I'm going to buy 4 bottles, or 2 of those and 2 of something else. And we just kept reinvesting in the inventory and everything that we could do. And now there's a whole lot of stuff in there. And it's funny, every once in a while we'll still get people that come in. They're like, I haven't been here in like 2 years. And holy cow, you guys have a lot more stuff in here. So
2 years, damn.
Yeah. It's been a wild
week at this point, So I moved. So I was born and raised in Edwardsville, Illinois. If you're watching this and you know me, you know that. And I met my wife in 2019, married in 2020, and then we didn't really move out to this area until 2021. So when I moved out here, one, I didn't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know where to go or what to do or anything.
Yeah.
And I stumbled across your store probably 2022, 2023, before I even knew it was in existence. And went in there and got some meat and some whiskey. And I'd come in here every once in a while, maybe once every 3, 4, 5 months, get some meat. Your fillets are unreal. If you've not bought Grillo's fillets, my wife, who is the pickiest eater, are literally, she will tell you the best fillet she's ever had. I bought some, I don't know, was it about a month ago? She had a rare character ball. I was like, hey, I'll buy them.
I need that.
I need those fillets, so I can get this. Unreal. They were fantastic. And now I feel like I'm in there all the time. It's just one of those things that kind of like just you grow with.
Yeah, what sets us apart meat wise is that we do the certified Hereford breed of cattle, and so most places around are carrying Angus, and it's super popular in these areas. And but what's nice with the certified Hereford breed is that they source. So Kern, the company we get that from, they source everything from local Missouri farms. So 100% of the beef that you're eating from our shop is coming from a Missouri farm, a small Missouri farm. And it makes a big difference on quality when you're getting it from small local farmers versus a massive corporation. And then also the shipping aspect of that, right? So what people don't think about is if you transport cattle 500 miles to a processing plant and you process them, they were stressed out that entire trip, right? Like that's not an easy trip for cattle. And so those stress hormones decrease the quality of the meat. So when they have less to travel, or a lot of these places will process on their own farms. And so they're happy their whole life until they're processed. So it makes a huge difference on the quality. And of course, like you said, the fillets, the strips, the ribeyes, our brisket burgers, like those are some, all 4 of those things are super popular.
Well, last weekend I came in for Memorial Day and I got some Four Hands beer brats.
Yep.
Unreal. I got some of your maple bourbon chicken. I sliced it in half because my wife likes thin chicken. She's got to have the thin stuff.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't eat.
They're easier to cook that way, though.
Yeah, my wife doesn't eat any fruit, any vegetables, and the only meat she'll eat is chicken or filet. That's it. Otherwise, she's eating like pretzel bites and potato skins. And she's this big. She's listening to this. Well, she's going to kill me. But
she is very diligent at working out, though. So
she is that. But she loved the chicken. We bought some kebabs for me that were phenomenal. Awesome. So not only do you have great whiskey, but you have great meat. And correct, I might be wrong here when I ask this question, but somebody told me this, and I believe they're right. Are you the only person that sells Boar's Head deli meat now at this point? Because Deerbergs has pulled it.
It was in Schnucks, but yeah, Schnucks pulled from every store.
Yeah.
I don't know where else sells it. There might be a couple other small places. But it's wild, man. So they had like a listeria, in reality, it was a pretty minor deal.
Yeah.
But it cost Boar's Head like millions and millions of dollars. They threw away like millions of pounds of product. And so people are like, oh, I don't want to get anything. I'm like, actually, right now is probably the best time you could be eating because they're under a microscope. Everything they do is being constantly examined and done over and over and over. And so
I still think Boar's Head deli meat is, I don't think you can touch it. I really
hands down to that.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Yeah, it was a no question for us when we opened. And plus Boar's Head's awesome. They work with like all the small mom and pops take priority over the big chains. So whereas, in like the bourbon world, like the big chains get all the allocated stuff. If there's things from Boar's Head that are done on like a smaller scale, so like, hey, we only have X number of these things to divvy out to all of our places, the mom and pops get that first.
Oh, that's
and
really
then
cool.
The big chains get it.
That's really cool.
So it's pretty cool how they do that. And I don't know if that's exclusive to the St. Louis market or if that's company-wide. That's how it works here, which is awesome. So
what makes the Four Hands brat?
We put Four Hands citywide American Pale Ale in the brat. So for every 5 pounds of pork we use a 16-ounce can of that, plus like our seasonings and everything in there too.
And I'll tell you, when you grill it, like you go to cut it open and it like the beer like oozes out. Like it, I mean, obviously it's more than just beer, but like you can taste it, smell it, like it's a true beer brat.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's one of many different brats in because you have the Philly cheesesteak, the pepperoni. Don't you have a pepperoni pizza?
We did a pizza one.
Pizza
yeah.
one.
So some of those we do just like randomly
Yeah.
throughout different weeks. Like we'll do a broad special of the week. But like our tried and trues are the bacon cheddar,
I've seen those.
mango habanero, beer brat, and our jalapeno popper. And so those are the 4 that like we carry those year round, and then we'll roll in like 5 or 6 through different holidays and extra stuff. And then we do our family Sazitza recipe too, which is awesome.
Well, I know you also do desserts too, though. Like, so why do I see every week there's a different cheesecake or something like that? Is that your mom's recipe?
No, it's not. So we actually, that's one we don't actually do. Yeah, we don't actually do the desserts. That's a friend of mine. His wife does the desserts for us. She has a small commercial kitchen that she used to do the desserts out of now. So, but she makes the best cheesecake, man. I don't know if you've ever had a cheesecake.
I literally see every week there's a different cheesecake, and I'm like,
and I'm like a cheesecake junkie. I mean, hence one of the bottles up here.
So my wife will tell you the same thing. I am a cheesecake fanatic. Like, turtle cheesecake is my number one. You know, strawberry cheesecake, turtle cheesecake. That's what I go for every time.
Yep.
So cheesecake, everything for me. Yeah.
But yeah, she does. She makes some of the best cheesecake I've had, and so she's like, "Hey, do you want me to make you a cheesecake or 2 every week?" And I was like, "Say less." I mean, if we don't sell it, I have dessert. Like, gosh, this is a win-win for me, man. I have there's no downfall here.
So opened in September of 2020. I guess if I'm trying to think back to 2020 in September, so we're starting to kind of come out of the pandemic at that point, kind of.
Things were a little looser. I mean, especially being in St. Charles County. It was very different than it was in St. Louis County.
That's why the mayor, or whatever you call the county, St. Louis County, whoever runs St. Louis County, Dr. Page or whatever his name is, he was coming out to St. Charles County to eat because he closed his own county.
Yeah, right.
Because you couldn't go out to eat. Like, guys, come over to St. Charles County.
To eat. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense there. But yeah, so things were loosening up a little bit, but we were pretty like hands off with it. And like if you want to wear the mask and you want to do all that stuff, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like we didn't put any rules in place, and I think for the most part that people were kind of like at ease by that. Like I think at that point in time, people were kind of like over the restrictions and all the stuff going on. So, but. Yeah, luckily for us, we opened in September 2020 and people were like, "Oh my God, what a horrible time to open." And I was like, well,
not really.
It was scary. Don't get me wrong. Like, we were terrified. I was like,
scary.
this is a sink or swim moment, but people were drinking more. They were eating at home more because they weren't going out.
I was just going to say that.
And so I think that actually helped us quite a bit. And there was a big social media, I don't want to say movement, but like there was a lot more social media presence of people like trying to help out other businesses at that point in time. So I think that really helped us, and the community support ever since then has been awesome. Yeah, right. Shop local. Man.
Well, I mean, I can remember during that time, my wife and I lived right across the street from Donatelli's for a brief moment before we moved here.
Okay.
And so we used to go into Donatelli's weekly and either get food to go or something to try to support them because they were like our local restaurant that we would always go to.
Right. You don't want to see them close.
Exactly. You want to support the company that is being, unfortunately challenged because of whatever's going on in the world. And so we get to go orders, or we go in there and just, sit down and have a drink and an appetizer just to try to help and support them. And a lot of those restaurants at that time if it wouldn't have been for to-go orders and things like that, they would have closed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But when you were talking about that, I was thinking probably was actually a decent time because people were drinking more, buying more food to cook at home. Bourbon boom happened. Yeah.
I mean, I know I couldn't tell you how many people I talked to at the shop. They're like, "Well, I got into bourbon during COVID." Yeah. And they're like, "Now I have 300 bottles." And he's like, "Well, welcome to the club, man. Like, this is the problem, right?" Like, yeah. It happens to all of us idiots out here. So.
Well, you see me.
Yeah, I mean.
By the way, this collection started in January.
Yeah, see, we just
this year, and I'm already at 102 bottles.
Yeah, we just have buying problems.
That's what my wife said. You got an addiction.
Listen, it could be worse. I have a buddy. He's a regular at the shop. He comes in all the time. He's in our whiskey club we have at the shop, and he started. I want to say about 2 years ago, but he's over 1,000 bottles now.
Holy Jiminy Christmas!
And I'm not talking like 1,000 like bottles of ancient age or something. It's like they're all very, very nice bottles.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. We came in today and he got our last bottle of Rare Character that we had.
The Exceptional Series?
Yeah, the Exceptional Series. Mm-hmm. And then he also picked up a little book, the Jai, Chapter 9.
Nice. I just was talking about that. I was like, man, damn it. Because I just got here and I was scrolling through Facebook and I'm like, shit, Grillo says a little bit. Damn it.
She gone.
You know?
Yeah. She gone now.
Yeah, was that the only one you got?
Yeah, we had a couple of them, but they go pretty fast.
Of course.
Yeah. All right, so let's do another pour here.
Sure.
I'm gonna. Should you want to go back to the Middle West?
Mike, which one do you think we should?
Yeah,
let's go. So let's do the Middle West wheated.
Okay.
Just so you can see the differences just between different mash bills, right? I mean, they're distilling it the same. Obviously, the mash bills are totally different.
To be honest with you, that pumpernickel rye
it's killer, isn't it?
Pretty good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's 126 proof too.
Yeah.
And man, it just does not drink 126 whatsoever.
Problem is, I'm a rye guy, so I'm already biased going into this. So,
you know me. This is
I know
confirmation bias.
I
know, right?
I messaged you. I don't know, or maybe I was in the store last week. I was
that
like,
nose on
this is one of my favorite bottles I've ever bought from them. It's that good, in my opinion.
You see that typical like sweet nose,
Very
like
sweet.
all the sweet notes.
Very sweet.
You know, when you really delve into it, you can start tearing them apart, but it's just sweet right away.
It's delicious. A couple more weeks ago, my wife was watching a Dateline upstairs, and she's like, "Will you watch it with me?" And I was like, "Sure." Came downstairs, I grabbed this bottle, put it on my nightstand, and I had just opened it, and you see where it's at now.
It's pretty deep already. It's pretty deep.
Was it a scary Dateline? Under the bottle.
Yeah. No, I was too big into the bottle. I wasn't even big into the Dateline.
I always get worried that my wife's plotting my death when she starts watching all those Dateline shows.
I have a sister-in-law like that. She's always like, you can kill somebody by doing this, or you can do. And my brother-in-law's like, if I die from drinking antifreeze, you know who did it.
You know where to go first, man. Yeah.
See, this to me is so smooth. What's the proof on this?
123.
At 120, and it does not even remotely drink, in my opinion, like a 123.
No, I don't think either one of them did. And what's crazy, man, is so a lot of the I won't say a lot, but like you get to the bigger distilleries and their barrel picks are significantly older than these, and these were just under 6 years old. So this is like 5 year, 10 months. I think they were like 5 year, 10 months, 5 year, 11 months, somewhere right around there. But for that, and I don't want to say that's it's really not a young whiskey.
It's
for
really
a rye, that's probably actually a good sweet spot.
Yeah,
but for wheated bourbons, it's we call it maybe a little young, but they're killer.
It is. Yeah, but wheat is one of those categories now that's like promoted heavily and goes all over the place to whether age, lower age, that whole type of deal. So to me, I think this for a wheated drinks very nicely.
Yeah. Oh, it's real good. Yeah. Actually, shout out to Keith Collier. He's the one who told me to go buy this. He's like, I know what bourbon you like. Yeah. You're gonna love that bottle.
Yeah. I wouldn't call for you. I would definitely say that's yours. Right.
Right. Yeah. We Kenny and I. I guess it was last week. We went to 15 Stars at St. Louis Bourbon Society.
Nice.
And I told my wife, and I called it which one you.
So we started. Yeah. And shout out to 15 Stars. They did a phenomenal job, and their new bottle, First West, which is on pre-order right now through Maui Liquor,
doesn't launch until July.
Is incredible. Mm-hmm. But the first 3 or 4 tastings that we had, they were all 18 year mixed with a 9 year and a 15 year mixed with a 7 year or something along those lines.
Good.
And I'm like, these are not good. I didn't like it.
Loved them.
And so I get home, I come down here, I pour something, and I'm like, that's good. Kenny's like, you don't like old stuff. Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean I don't like old stuff?
Which is possible, man.
A lot of old stuff up here. And then I started sampling, an Elijah Craig 18 year. I'm like, he's right.
You don't really like it.
I really don't like
his sweet mark is 5 to 8 years. So
they can tend to get a little tannicky and
8 to 15.
Yeah, that's it. It's too oaky for me.
Yes, the wood tannins, all that stuff come out, the oak, all that stuff. So for me, it was right up my alley. The first 4 tastings from 15 Stars were unbelievable. I'm like, holy shit, because they blend everything.
Yeah.
And they had 9, 12, 15, and they had 10, 15, 19, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, these are awesome.
I thought their stuff was really good. Yeah. It's a little, it's pricey.
Oh, it's pricey.
Their other stuff's pricey. But I think that new line you're talking about is entry level, if
and
you
it's
will.
like, I think it's $59.99.
Yeah.
Which the bottle is beautiful, and it was like a 6-year. I was like, I like
So
that.
I'd rather have 2 of those than 1 of those.
That's their first West product, and it was all 5, 6, and 7-year stuff, and that was actually what they sent their corn over to be distilled, actually of their own mash bill, and so everything else has been sourced previous from that.
Okay.
So it's all aged stuff that they have, but like he's saying, you know, that's his right up his alley. But like for us, you and I probably the first 4 that I had was right up my alley, and that was everything from like $130 to $270 price point.
Oh yeah, they're pricey.
Yeah.
But hey, great brand, great product.
Great brand,
So, like,
and I love the history of the brand. But
yes,
I think I've come to the conclusion that Kenny might be right, that I just like
Yes.
younger stuff.
and I called it because, like I
Which
said,
may not always be the case.
Sure, yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I've had stuff that's 10, 12 years old that I
but,
like.
and you're not a big rye guy either, and I'm a huge rye guy. So
very
like,
true.
to
That's
us,
why we
we have
balance
very
this
different
podcast out.
Yeah.
Because I think
So it
rye
does.
tastes like shit, and that's when I get the weeded.
Oh yeah, because that pumpernickel rye for me is
That's a rye I would buy.
I love that.
See, it's funny, man. So
Over
we have both of these, and we always sample our store picks at the shop, because like the last thing that I want is someone to buy a pick and be excited about it and get home and be like, this sucks.
Well, I've done that
And, like,
before.
Correct.
You know,
Yes.
and I don't know, like I take great pride in our picks, and I put a lot of effort and
And I
time
know you
into them.
do. I know you do.
So like I always want the best bottle of what I'm given to be there. And like we've had times where like we were, given either samples, we went to somewhere and I was like, these aren't doing it for me, you know? So, which is an awkward conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we've had a lot of guys that like, they'll try the weeded and they're like, ooh, I really want to try the weeded. And I'm like, just try the rye afterwards.
Yeah.
And I bet 50% of the time they're like, I think I like the rye better.
Yeah.
And, same deal. They're like, I'm not really a rye guy.
Mhm.
Well, that's like when I came in. I was like, I'm not a rye guy. And you're like, just try it. And I was like, okay, that I could do. That one I could do.
50% of the time
Right,
it works
right.
every time.
That's right. That's right. So talk to us about the new venture, Barrels and Birdies. By the way, if you haven't, well, it's right next door to Grillo's, but it's a beautiful, beautiful spot. Just an awesome location. Talk to us about where that vision came from. And then I know there was a lot of work on your hands to get that built out.
There was 2
yes.
months, man.
And
2
you
months
put a
from
lot of-
possession to get it open. So
Yeah. Let's talk to us about that.
So man, it really started just my wife and I love golf, and we love the more of the social aspect of it as well. And so we went to look at another place that was in Lake St. Louis, and there was just like all these extra fees and all this extra stuff. And I was just like, this is not what I envisioned it was going to be. And so we kind of started like spitballing some stuff. And then next door just kind of happened to fall in our lap. The landlord came over in January and was like, hey, we just found out GameStop's not renewing their lease. And I said, all right, well, I'll have an LOI over to you in like 2 days. And so we negotiated and we took it over in February. So it went lightning fast. And so, I had to put the instead of just like sitting at home drinking with the wife talking about this would be a cool business. And here's kind of where my thoughts would be to like, this has to get on paper and like, and make sense real quick.
Real quick. Yeah.
So the concept we came up with was a all-inclusive membership that someone can come in and they can golf whenever they want. They can hang out with their friends whenever they want. And it's kind of like that speakeasy, just like super nice, classy vibe.
Yeah.
And so it's a membership-based thing. It's basically an unstaffed facility. Every member gets a locker. They had to keep their own alcohol in their locker. We supply cocktail mixers, soda, water, light beer, things like that. So a member comes in, they do everything works by an app on their phone. So they get close to the door and it recognizes Bluetooth. And so they just wave at the door reader and
that's cool.
Boom, they walk in and unlocks for them. And
That's super.
if they made an appointment to golf, they just golf with their buddies or golf by themselves, whatever they want to do. I just had one of my buddies is a member over there, and he was just over there the other day. And he worked for like 2 hours just sitting at the bar, just on his laptop working away. And then he hit golf balls for like an hour and then hopped on a phone call for another hour. And then he came back by the store and he's like, hey, dude, see you later. I'm out of here. I was like, that's a hell of an office. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a hell,
freaking
right?
cool.
That's a hell of an office.
That's a hell of an office.
But yeah, that was kind of the concept, is we wanted like a fun, like still nice, like we still have TrackMan simulators. So they're top of the line. They're the TrackMan IOs, so they mount to the ceiling. And it gives you just an insane amount of data that you can just get. If you're a big golfer, you just get lost in it sometimes, and then it screws you up sometimes more than it can help you. But yeah, so we put, really good simulators in, and just a really nice area to hang out, the lounge area, the bar area. We have a poker table in the back. So just try to create a space that is just welcoming to just hang out and stay kind of like a home away from home is kind of the overall theme of it, right? Like, just come in and everything's there that you need.
Yeah. Well, I went in a couple of times when you were doing the build out and was like, oh, cow, this is really, coming together. And that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a lot of work to do that build out.
It was.
Cause I remember when you were putting the brick up.
Yep.
I went in one day and you were up there and I just popped in to say hi. And I was like, oh, screw that. There's no way I could do that. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Yeah. And then I came up for your soft opening weekend on, I guess it was Friday, and I popped in, and it turned out beautiful.
Yeah,
really
man,
good job.
It was wild because here's the funniest thing is like one of my buddies had a golf trip and he asked me like way in advance. I mean, like 8 months in advance. Hey, do you want to go on this golf trip to Mississippi? And I was like, yeah, that sounds fantastic. We just play a trash load of golf in like 6 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
And so it was the end of April.
Oh shit.
And so we had prepaid for it, and I was like, well, I can't bail now, so like the last week of April I was gone on a golf trip just playing golf
you were finishing it
while we were finishing it. Yeah, so luckily like my GC is a buddy of mine and in our whiskey club at the shop also, and he's a great guy, and he like his team did an awesome job on the stuff that they did. Of course, like there was still a lot of stuff that I had to do, and but yeah, man, I got back. And I think I got back on the 29th of April, and I had the 30th and the 1st. And I was like, there's no way we're going to open on the 1st. I don't know when we're going to open now. And I just worked all day on the 30th and all day on the 1st over there. And I was like, I think we can open on the 2nd now. So we somehow did it, man. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Shit, dude. How did you enjoy that golf trip, dude? I would have been stressed.
Oh, dude.
The whole time, every swing I'd have been like, God, I gotta get back. Dude, how the hell did you do that?
There were so many times, like literally talking to like the city building inspector or the fire marshal or someone else that I'm like talking on the phone, and we'd be playing. So I'd be like, hey, Brian, my buddy's name is Brian. I'd be like, hey, Brian, hold my phone. And I'd be like, hit my shot, get my phone back, drive in the cart, and we'd go up and we'd do the same thing. And man, there was probably 10, 12 times where I was just on the phone for, like 10 minutes. And I'm sure the people around me are like, this guy is like self-righteous. I'm sorry, dude. Like I have no choice.
Dude, that's what I'm sitting there thinking. Cause we just got back from Scottsdale playing at Weekapaw Casino and Golf Resort. And, like I can only imagine like,
I was going to say so I'm in sales. So if you know anything about sales, like you're never off work.
Right.
Right. And so we're playing on Friday afternoon. We're playing 36 holes that day. And I'm like on the phone, muting the mic as I hit the ball, grabbing my phone, unmuting the mic, trying to still take care of business, but also. And
you got a fireman that's off like, God damn it, this fucking guy.
Must be nice
why am I golfing with this fucking guy?
He works like 6 days a month.
Jesus. He's taking fucking forever. I'm like, can I just listen to music and have a good time? No, he's gonna be on a goddamn call. Well,
that was me. So I felt bad for all the people that were there, that were around me. But yeah, it was. The poor guy on the way down there. It was like a 7-hour car ride, and I was on the phone almost the entire time. Either between calls of different people or like emailing.
It made your trip short.
Listen, I was like, "Holy cow, we're here already!" And he's like, "Yeah, idiot.
You've been
on the phone the entire time, dude." So yeah,
it's good for you though.
It was fun though. Listen, man, like the trip was great. Ended up having a blast, but golly, I was there was a lot of stress.
Yeah,
in there
I'm sure.
Was it the best decision? No, but whatever. You only live once.
Only live once. That's right. Talk to us a little bit about membership. Are we full on membership, or do you have still memberships available?
Yeah, we do. So we still have memberships available. We'll only take 50 memberships. We're at 27 of those 50 full right now.
Okay.
And at 50, we'll cap it. We're not going to take any more.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what I don't want to have happen is that we get so many members and then no one can use anything. And they're just kind of pissed off because their usage is too high. Mm-hmm. So at 50, we'll cap. That's the total amount of lockers I had built. So we're not going to go past that. We may, once we fill 50, we may explore like a shared locker option.
Yeah.
Where like that member can see if a friend wants to share their locker for an expanded fee and kind of do that. We'll see when we get there. But basically we do our memberships by commitment level. So we do a year, a 6 month, and a month to month. Our month to month is $315 a month. Our 6 month is $295, and yearly is $275 a month. And so it's, like I said, it's unlimited golf. It's unlimited lounge usage. You could golf there every day if you wanted to, for no fee for the member. There's no fee to bring guests to the lounge, and then it's just $7 an hour for a guest to golf.
So no fee to bring. How many guests can you bring at a time? Does it matter?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. So a total of 4 people.
Okay.
Yeah. The only exclusion to that is our poker table, which seats 6.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you had a membership and you want to come play poker with the boys, then you can have 5 guests with you. So for a total of 6. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Great.
Yep.
So, you and I had talked about this, and I've been asked about it from other people. Do you ever see, you got 50 lockers. I know it's a tight space. Do you ever see that down the road, maybe you have opening some kind of a social where golf is off limits? You can't do golf. That's for a golf membership. But maybe a social membership for those that want to just have access to the camaraderie and the friendship and the fellowship of people who, like that.
Yep. So for sure, we've thought about it, and it's not something that we have set in stone yet, but we've definitely thought about how we would make that work.
And to your comment to me, you only got so much space, right? The GameStop wasn't an overly big unit.
No, it's 1,400 square feet.
Yeah.
So it's funny because when I built the whole business model, I built it off my exact square footage where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't yours bigger than that?
Yeah. So GameStop is 5 feet more narrow. So obviously the same length. It's attached to the same building.
Okay.
But it's 5 feet more narrow. So when we got the space, I was like, oh my God, can I even make this work? So I got on the phone with who I knew was going to be my GC right away. And I was like, how do we shave 5 feet of space out of here? And so it was like, we can take off 4 inches by doing this, and we can take off 6 inches by doing this, and a foot here and a foot there.
Well, and you don't realize 5 feet doesn't sound like that, but when
that's
go into Birdies and Barrels versus Chuck, it is much more narrow.
Yeah. But it ended up working okay, and it was just the convenience of it was too perfect to pass up the opportunity.
You're right next door.
And so I was like, this is a great opportunity to start our, hopefully what will be our first location. And if we fill up lockers there and it goes well, then I would love to open another one more towards the Winsville area.
Yeah.
Yep. And at that point, we would probably do one that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Not probably, we will if we ever do that.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, we're kind of back and forth right now on the smoking. So we get asked all the time, can you smoke cigars in there? And the landlord wouldn't let us because of Cold Stone's right next door. And they didn't want any of the smell going on there. Not necessarily the smoke. We're like, we'll put in great ventilation. They're like, we're not worried about that.
Yeah.
It's the smell that might cross barriers. And and so now it's like 50-50, man. Some half of our members are like, I'm kind of glad because it's nice to come in here and not smell like a cigar when you leave.
It almost
and half nice. Man, I really wish I could sit in here and smoke a cigar.
It'd almost be nice to have a closed off little room, like a 10 by 10
separate,
or 12 by 12 room.
Smoking lounge.
And then you can have members that enjoy both,
Yeah, it's true.
But ideally,
Adventure Unknown.
Obviously, Cold Stone didn't want that. So.
I don't know if you know anything about Adventure Unknown, but they're out in Eureka, and it's a members-only club. Scott Schuchler, who's a good friend of mine, owns it. They have pickleball, golf simulator, conference rooms, offices. I mean, it's huge. It's like, I don't know, it's probably 10,000 square feet, 15,000 square feet. It's a warehouse that they basically built out. And he ran into that, was like, some people want to smoke cigars. Some were like, no, my wife will never come here for smoke cigars. Right. So they built out a room with ventilation, and you can only smoke in that room. Your challenge is against space.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In this, but we don't have the space in this setting. So when we expand to a new space, there'll definitely be other things that we'll consider if we do. But hopefully, I think it'll go really well. We've had a lot of people that are like, oh man, this is awesome. I'd love to get a membership here for the winter months. And I'm like, I don't know if there's going to be any memberships available come that time. You know,
right.
When September hits, I don't know if we'll have any memberships left open at that point in time. So
hopefully you don't. You know, I hope you don't.
I mean, I hope I don't either at that point. I hope we're full by then. But so we're taking this whole month of May. Like, I have very actively not been trying to aggressively get members.
Well, if you're 27 out of 50 already, you've been open a month. Right.
So, like, I haven't like aggressively tried to do anything. Like, I'll tour people over there and talk to them about it, and and they, most people love it. So, but we're spending this whole month to kind of work out the kinks, and we're going to start doing a little bit of some like appetizer / food options over there.
Nice.
And, we're just kind of toying around with fine tuning it and just creating the best customer experience we can. Really,
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, good. Again, what's the website for
birdiesandbarrelsgolf.com?
Birdiesandbarrelsgolf.com. Right next to Grillo's Shop and Barrel. Again, Lake St. Louis, Ralph Ronald Reagan. Beautiful spot. I would highly suggest you check it out. And while you're checking that out, you can go into Grillo's and get some damn good fillets and some good whiskey.
There we go.
In every firehouse, every patrol car, every ambulance, and every military unit, there's a bond forged in courage, sealed by sacrifice. At Fallen Brothers Crafted Spirits, we raise a glass to the heroes who never made it home. Crafted in honor, shared in remembrance. Each bottle of our handcrafted whiskey tells a story of bravery, of brotherhood, of lives lived in service. And with every pour, you're giving back. Because a portion of every bottle goes directly to organizations supporting the families of fallen first responders right here in our area. To the ones who answered the call, to the ones who still do, and to those we'll never forget, Fallen Brothers, Crafted Spirits. Raise one. Remember them. Available now. Drink with honor. Support with heart.
All right, what are we sampling next?
Which one should we do next, Mike?
Little Barrel King action?
Let's do some Barrel King.
Do a side-by-side Barrel King here?
Which one want to start with?
We got two good ones.
I feel like we should start with cheesecake.
Let's do cheesecake.
We've been talking about cheesecake.
Let's do cheesecake.
Cheesecake junkies.
Yeah,
I
think this bottle
Cherry Warm Goods is one of our old ones, so we can go
is killer.
From new to old.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Was I stingy on that pour? You want some more?
No, you're good, man. Thank you. Thank you.
I saw that. And I was like, oh,
I felt like
he's cutting Kenny off.
Cut me off.
Yep.
We've also been Barrel and Bourbon Club for the last since 4 o'clock today, sampling all sorts of different.
Well, that'll also happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet we had 25, 30 bottles up there that we
yeah.
were sampling. We had some really killer ones up there, but
You guys were at the Post today, right?
Post, yeah.
I know.
So Barrel and Bourbon Club.
I was working. I was bummed I can't get over there.
I would love to have you, buddy.
Oh, I'll make it over there soon.
But you didn't get off till 6 though, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we have our golf tournament coming up Saturday, and like just with the opening of Birdies and Barrels, and like it's been wild, man. So
it's a lot of fun. It's just a bunch of idiots that get together that like whiskey and share bottles that we bring together. And,
from novice to experience.
Yeah, like we had some guys there tonight that are just getting into it. They got to sample some. I brought my Pappy 10-year, which I love. That a lot of people wanted to try. They hadn't got a chance to try it.
Yep.
I took this Barrel King up there last month. This is
I picked it up there. That's good.
This pick. When you first got it, you only had 20 bottles of it, maybe. And then you got a bunch more.
Yeah, we got. So this is wild. This will probably blow your guys' mind, like how fast this stuff goes at the shop. So Matt Bunch from Barrel King.
Oh, it's so
kind of funny offshoot story, really quick.
By the way, there's stone fruit in that. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Stone fruit, man. Wide category.
Matt Bunch from Barrel King is an awesome dude. He came into the shop when we first started carrying Barrel King and was like, "What is this stuff? I don't drink flavored whiskey." And I was like, "It's not flavored whiskey." Like, try to explain it. He's like, "Holy shit, this stuff's awesome." And so he got hooked, and he became a member. Well, now he's their warehouse and distillery manager. So he does all the barrel picks.
He must have loved
everyone. Yeah. So, but anyway, Matt's an awesome dude. So he came out and he dropped off 110 bottles for us on Thursday. And I posted it at like 4:00, and the guys from Whiskey Land TV, I don't know if you guys have ever seen their podcast and YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were out, they interviewed me and Matt and just kind of filmed the whole process and were asking us a bunch of questions. And they were like, so I posted it and they're like, so how long does it take for people to get here? And I was like, 15 minutes, first person will walk in the door and all of this will be gone by this weekend. And they're like, no way. And sure enough, Saturday at noon, the last bottle went out the door. It was 110 bottles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I called Matt and I was like, we're out. And he's like, you're kidding me.
What's that, 48 hours almost?
I mean, we posted Thursday at 4.
And Saturday at noon. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a little over 48, but still.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. So
less than 48.
Yeah,
less than 48.
Yeah, less than 48.
My math's awful.
That's all right.
That's why I'm in sales.
Yeah, well,
That's why I'm a sales.
that's why I sell meat. I drink whiskey. That's
I'm like, just sign here, okay?
Right, yeah.
That's why I drink a hose.
Right.
That's why I drink.
Let's see. So then we got our next, I think we had another 80-ish bottles or something like that that he brought back out the next week. And that first initial push is always super fast.
Yeah.
And then I think the next 80 took maybe 2 weeks to go. But still, I think we had 190 bottle yield, which was, we purposefully blended more than we did our last pick, because our last pick sold out, I think, in like 6 days. And I was like, oh, crap. And like, we had so many people pissed off.
Yeah.
They didn't get it.
Was that the
purple haze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I know. We were just talking about it. It's a good one too, man.
That's my
So what's cool is the last 2 we did down there at Barrel King, we got to do blends, and it was our first time doing a quote unquote. It's not; these aren't single barrels, but
yeah,
it's its own unique blend, right? And everything else we've done down there, like we'll try warm cherry goodness next, probably. That was a single barrel.
Yep.
And we just finished it in a different barrel, right?
Yeah.
So we went around finding barrels, and we're like, this barrel's fire.
Stag Junior barrel.
Yeah, and then we're going to finish this puppy in a Stag Junior. But this one was a blend. So we did, we found a rye barrel, an MGP rye barrel. I want to say it was either an 8 or a 9-year MGP rye.
Yeah.
And it just happened to have, and you guys, your stone fruit joke, we'll appreciate that. It happened to just have those stone fruit notes. They were very prominent. Right. And to me, like strawberry is one of my favorite notes to pick out in a bourbon. It's just unique and so different, and it doesn't happen very often. And it had that single barrel had that. And then they also had I want to say it was a strawberry peach brandy finished rye, but they only had like 7 or 9 gallons or something like that left.
Oh, shit.
And so we had all tried it, and we're like, dude, this is killer.
Yeah.
But it needs more depth, like it was just all punch you in the face, strawberry and peach, and we're like, it needs more depth. So we added the rye to that blend, and then we added a little bit of a rye finished in sauternes, which typically provides like a layer of like buttery, cakey, doughy, graham cracker kind of notes. Like all of those things generally tend to happen with that. And so blending all those together, man, we did our final blend, and I tasted it, and I was just like, it like immediately clicked, and I was like, dude, this is strawberry cheesecake. Like, this is bourbon, strawberry cheesecake. Sign me up. Bottle all the shit up, like all of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, you definitely get strawberry.
And you nailed it.
Right off the top. I mean, as soon as it hits the tongue, you taste strawberry. There's no doubt.
It's sweet up front. And then that sweetness continues a little bit, but it starts to change into that, like, almost like a yellow cake.
Yep. I taste it at the end. And
then the finish is just like, because you still kind of get that sweetness from the strawberry, but the finish is mostly like the buttery, cakey. Yeah. And it sits on your palate for so long. And you're just like, I feel like I just ate a bite of strawberry cheesecake, but I drank bourbon. This is tripping me out, man. This is wild.
That's
a great pick.
And unfortunately, that one's gone.
It's gone. It is gone. Yeah. We have both the Middle West still. I think we have like 50 bottles of each of those left still.
Okay.
But yeah, the Barrel King stuff, man, when we post it, it always goes fast. And for those of you guys that don't know about Barrel King, check them out. Their stuff's amazing. Yeah. They're basically membership only. Yeah. So and then we have a great relationship with Jared down there, and I've known him for quite a long time. And he's awesome and super hospitable to us doing barrel picks down there. And so,
Yeah, we I think our very first episode of this podcast, we talked about barrel king. Before I met you, and really before I really started collecting, I mean, I've always been a whiskey drinker. I just never collected. I'd be like, oh, I'll buy a bottle. Okay, I'm out. I go buy another bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out. Never really started collecting. And when I started learning about barrel king, I started researching it. And the story behind Jared and his wife and how the barrel king even became to be was like, I mean, it kind of like touched me a little bit. And I was like, wow, like that's somebody I want to support and someone to get behind. So our very first episode on this podcast, we did a whole like 20-minute skit about kind of their story, how they came to be, about their daughter, all of it. Yeah. And now every time I see Barrel King, I'm like, I'll buy that bottle. I'll buy that bottle. You know,
right?
Just because, again, you want to help.
If the Barrel King label's on it, you know it's going to be good.
It's going to be good, and you're supporting a family that, and a community at that point now,
right?
Because
exactly. They're in Bourbon,
Missouri,
right?
and
there's a better time.
I know, right? So just a cool story. So if you haven't, to Mike's point, if you haven't checked out Barrel King, go to their website. Pretty sure it's barrelking.com, but just Google it. You'll find it.
Yeah. Or oldroadcraftspirits.com. Either one. I'm not sure which one they...
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Just Google Barrel King, or
you'll find it.
I'll put a link in the bottom of this podcast to their website. You guys can go research and listen to it and look at their membership. It's pretty much, to Mike's point, a membership only type. I guess... Well, I don't know.
You pick. I think you get your membership. You get one
bottle a month.
And then they ship that to you, or you can go pick it up. And it's a little bit cheaper for your membership. Mm-hmm. But then you also have access to buy other bottles outside of your one bottle a month. Yeah. Which is great. I mean, literally, we have like at home still. I have batch 1, batch 2. We just killed batch 3, which happened to be strawberry. I think it was called Strawberry Cream Stogie. It was like so I don't know if you've seen any of his other stuff. You probably remember some of the stuff Jared called them Philly blends.
Yeah.
And that was a strawberry Philly blend. Mm-hmm. So he did a strawberry brandy finished, Armagnac, and I think maybe Sauternes.
Yeah.
Huh.
And man, it was one of my favorites that he's ever done. And
I don't know,
we got ours here, and we killed that bottle side by siding it with ours. Just to see how different or similar they were, and that was super fun. So batch 3 is gone, but man, even the early batches were still so good. The early batches were a lot of just true single barrels.
Well, and remind me, like if I'm remembering correctly, like, he didn't really have a background in that, right? Like he didn't really have a whiskey blending background, did he?
I don't think like he went to like ever any formal school or anything. But how I met Jared was through a friend of the shop, and Jared was doing a bunch of single barrel picks through a Facebook group with Good Times.
Yep.
At the time. And I think this was before Good Times has been kind of under a lot of like weird, like call outs from people. Mm-hmm. It like that they're adding extra brandy into like so if they say it's like finished in a mango brandy barrel, then like they're adding extra mango brandy into the blend. No, I don't know if they're doing that.
Right.
That's just the word on the street, right? Yeah. But I can tell you this, that the bottles that I bought that were Jared's blends are significantly different than stuff that Good Times releases on their own.
Gotcha.
So,
but he basically started out of his garage.
Maybe he was just working his own magic in there and whatever he was doing. But I'm sure like that helped him refine his palate for sure. But the dude's got an insane palate, and just a great nose.
Yeah. All right. Let's try the cherry.
Cherry goodness.
Yep. This is.
Can you want to talk about this little bottle?
Yeah. No, this is an old school one that Mike Grillo and I had the opportunity to go down. Well, thank you for letting us come down and do the pick with you.
Absolutely.
Number one. So we did a shared pick with Grillo Shop and Barrel through our fire district, O'Fallon Fire Protection District. And portion of the proceeds, everything we made off of this barrel release went back to our community outreach, which basically supports wheelchair ramps. If your house was to catch fire, we'd put you in a hotel for a couple days, etc., stuff like that. So that was kind of cool to do that. And I appreciate Mike Grillo for letting us go down and do that with him. And we went down there and basically we went down there that day, and I can't remember how many people we had on that trip, but I know Dusty and his wife was there, and
I think we had 7 or 8.
7 or 8. So we get down there, and it's about an hour and 15 minutes from us. We get down there, and basically Jared opens up the whole freaking floor. So we had like 25 barrels opened up, and he's like, just go ahead and smell them all, and then tell me which one you want to try. And I'm like, holy shit. So you're basically telling me just to like sniff these bungs.
Yeah, sniff the bung hole.
So he pulls all the bungs out, and he's like, sniff the bung hole, and then tell me which one smells good, and you can try whatever one you want. And I'm like, all right, well, that one smells good.
All of them?
That one smells good. That one smells good. And so anyway, we ended up narrowing it down to, I don't know.
So when we got
a certain
there,
amount.
There was 50 barrels down.
Okay.
There were 50 barrels.
I said 20 something, but holy shit. I mean,
so we ended up marking 15.
Okay.
So we marked 15 of those 15.
Kenny was already drunk.
I was already hammered because I can't remember
he was just hammered from smelling them at this point. Yeah. Right. I don't know. We marked 15, and we went through and we tried all 15, and then we narrowed that down to, I think, 4 or 5, and then we blinded the whole group on those 4 or 5, and we unanimously all picked the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, the base barrel for this, the single barrel we did, was the very first barrel that Jared and I smelled, and we both smelled it, and we both go, cherry waffles.
Yep.
Literally what we said from the very first time we smelled it, not even getting it out of the barrel. And then once we got it out of the barrel, of course, that just it blossomed into a way bigger note than that. But this was, and Jared may have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was the first rye finished in a Stag Junior barrel.
I believe you're correct. Yeah, that's fair.
So
that's what I remember.
Am I gonna like it or not like it?
Oh shit! Here we go. It's 114 proof.
Doesn't smell like a rye.
Man, dude, when we smelled the bung, I mean, dude, the notes that came off the bung were cherry waffles, like 100%. Like it was impressive.
See, again, that doesn't.
God damn, that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that does not taste like a rye to me. Again, I taste cherry.
That's still like, dude, that's a cherry bomb, dude. Like it's still a cherry bomb. It's a good one. I don't know.
It's a shame it's gone, man.
What's wild is like some of those ryes you get down there, and like some of them are like super peach heavy. Yeah. Like you get one out and you're like, why does this smell like peaches? It's the same mash bill as that. Like how something goes from smelling like so much like cherries and then something going to smell like peaches, and it's the same mash, produced at the same distillery, put in the same barrels, just in different spots.
Yep.
Yeah. Wild, dude.
This was finished in a Stag,
which is what makes
though, so
we definitely amplified that cherry, right?
Amplified it
for sure.
And
the
so red fruit was.
I think typically, I mean, what they tend to say is that the Stag barrel tends to influence more of the like cherry cola, like almost like an effervescent cherry kind of a deal.
Yeah,
I got a Stag up there.
But you do, I think it's right.
Right here.
Yeah, I bet if you poured that side by side with this, you'd pick up some similar notes. Those are pretty high proof.
Yeah,
128. It's not terrible.
Yeah, this was a great pick.
It's a good pour.
Great pick.
I agree. I actually like that. And when you said
that's
rye,
that's 2. We're 2 for 2.
You're 2 for 2 on rye tonight.
Rye there.
Yeah. Straight rye.
I had nothing against ryes. I just my palate doesn't like some of them.
Yeah, this is.
That's actually really good. And you're right. It's cherry, like cherry bomb.
It's there, man.
Oh yeah,
cherry warm goodness, baby. Yeah. Cherry wow.
But it's still funny, man. We do these, and some people still don't know much about Barrel King, and they'll come into the shop and they'll see because the back labels, we always do these what we call tater stickers.
Yeah.
And we always try to make them fun. I think this bottle actually was the first one we didn't do like an actual pinup girl. And now looking back, we really should have done something with like a pinup girl on a fire pole.
Probably.
With some, incorporate cherry, whatever. But we always try to do these fun labels, and people always think it's flavored. And they're like, I don't drink flavored whiskey. And I'm like, no.
That's not.
It's not. Yeah, it's just, that's not what it is. One, if you were charging $150 for a flavored whiskey, like, whoa, how are you getting that?
Right.
So, But yeah, man, we've been super happy with the picks down there, and we got another one cooking right now. It's just sitting in another barrel waiting for December. Yeah.
Is there a teaser on that?
Think Midwinter Night's Dram.
Ooh, okay. All right.
But significantly better, obviously.
Okay.
Last episode we had Bourbon Society on, and Jeff Henley brought the Corn Hub bottle. I don't know if you've had that.
I love the label. Dude. It cracks me up. The first time they released it, I was like, is that really going to be their label? That's
my wife goes,
well,
you
see the recent one? Mile Rye Club? Barrel King just released it today. Mile Rye Club. Yeah.
That's good too.
That's hilarious.
Look, check them out.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
It's freaking awesome. So they got a picture of the outside of the bathroom door, or I think it might be the inside of the bathroom door in the airplane, where it's got like the open here
lock button,
little lock button. It says Mile Rye Club, and then it like that's the tater sticker on the back.
I love it, dude.
That's awesome.
It makes it so much fun too about their bottles that are like, that's so much. I don't know. I mean, I have probably 40 different Barrel Kings at home, 40 or 50, and I mean, I know a couple people that have way more than that. But it's just it's actually really cool to like have all the tater sticker labels facing out, and like because everything else looks so fancy and nice and like professional, and these are all just like hilarious, like cool different labels.
Here, show that one. I mean, that one doesn't have a tater label on it.
But that one's like straight cotton candy.
But that one's delicious. But so it is, I agree. If you put these two side by side, which one are you drinking? I mean, I'm going to drink little girl, right?
It's eye catching, and so
it's unique,
right? And I mean,
if you're listening to this show, chances are you know your way around a good pour. But if you're ready to take your whiskey journey to the next level, let me introduce you to the Barrel Room Bourbon Club. This is more than just a club. It's a private community of bourbon lovers, collectors, and industry pros who come together to share rare bottles, swap stories, and connect over what we all love most, great whiskey and great people. At the Barrel Room Bourbon Club, we're building real relationships with fellow enthusiasts and with the folks shaping the future of the whiskey world, distillers, blenders, even the occasional barrel pick. Yeah, it's all happening behind those doors. I've seen it firsthand. Some of the best conversations and best pours happen in that room. Old friends, new friends, legendary whiskey. So if you're ready to be part of something special, visit barrelroombourbonclub.com to learn more and apply. That's barrelroombourbonclub.com. We'll see you inside.
Jared's super cool, and I mean, I should thank Matt Bunch probably now at this point because he's the one that does all the wax dipping for us. But I'm a wax top tater man. I love the wax tops. Like they look so much nicer.
They do.
And so I'm always like, he's like, what color wax do you want? And so the last one we did the purple haze, we finished in a Willet purple top barrel. So we did the purple top wax dip.
It was like was it like a metallic purple though?
It was. Like it was like silver flakes.
Dude, I'm impressed because Willet's one of my favorite brands, and like that one's gone. I killed it. And I should. God damn it.
I got one in the bunker in the basement. Don't worry. Yeah. I'm not selling it to you.
Oh. I was like,
but you can come over and drink it.
Venmo. Venmo works.
So we always keep one of every bottle on the shelf at the shop. You've seen that, right?
Yes.
So over the checkout, one of every bottle is there.
One time I was checking out with your mom. I said, "Can you get some of that bottle?" She goes, "No." I was like, "All right."
So people ask me all the time, like, make me an offer. I mean, there's some offer that I will say yes to. I don't know what that number is, but there's some number that will make me say yes.
Of wax, I got to just say this real quick. I bought the presidential, which is up there somewhere from you.
Mm-hmm.
Wax.
Dude,
we had to take a hacksaw to that.
It took me like 30 minutes to get into it.
I don't know what, and so it's funny because
a great bottle.
Because Barrel Kings used to be super thick.
So
they've done great about thinning theirs out, so it's way easier to cut into now. But yeah, that presidential one,
dude, they had masking tape in there, but dude,
it didn't rip at all.
You had to fucking saw it, dude. I had a drywall saw out. He was at my house.
It was.
We were trying to open. I was like,
the wax is gone.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I thought I was gonna cut my finger.
But that was a good pick.
It was good.
It was very.
That's a wild one because it's a 99% corn.
Yeah. No, I remember when you
1% rye though.
1% rye.
Yeah, I remember when I.
Which is they're almost always, a 99% corn is almost always 99 corn, 1% malted barley.
Yeah.
And that's 1% rye. Which
I think that balanced it out enough to where it was like very enjoyable.
It was very enjoyable, but yeah, it was
The story behind that's cool.
Yeah. Aged at least 2 terms.
I think
I love
years.
that.
I think like you said, that 1% rye just fucking balanced that out enough to be
which is so
awesome.
weird that you wouldn't think, right? And so, well, I mean, this
It
is
might have
weird
been
too.
enough.
Like when we did our Barrel King pick, the strawberry,
Yeah.
we're adding it in we're using like little droppers to add in like just a little bit into our glass in bunches. Like, dude, just literally 1 drop of the sauternes in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, boop. I'm like, no way that's going to change it. And so I did it. I'm like, okay, like I'm wrong. I'll admit that. And yeah, so I think in the entire blend, I mean, we had, I don't know, it's 190 bottles. So whatever that equates to, probably close to 50 gallons total of juice. And we used 2, I think he said we used 2 gallons of sauternes finished rye in that entire blend. And it came through that much.
Damn.
Wow.
Which is wild. Man, it might have been less than that even.
It
I
made
can't
a
remember
huge
for sure.
impression. I mean, that was, to me, that changed the entire thing.
It was
At first, I'm like, 99% corn.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
then I tried. I'm like, oh shit, 1%. Okay, all right.
well, yeah. I remember when I bought it from you, you were like, "No, when you get home and taste this, text me and let me know what you think of it."
Yeah.
Because I promise you, it's a sleeper. And so I went over to his house, like, Grillo says we got to try this. So he took a hacksaw out. I'm damn near need a fucking chainsaw.
Oh, yeah, I took a fucking hacksaw off.
And finally got it open, and I was like,
fucking saws.
"Holy cow! That 1% rye."
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was thinking like it's going to taste like ethanol. Like all you're going to taste is corn. But
Yeah.
I was hesitant for sure. I know that. And then I was thoroughly impressed. Yeah, that's for sure.
For sure. Well, Mike, we got one more bottle to try before we let you get out of here.
An
This
OG.
is an OG.
It's an old one.
What year was this?
Man,
song?
so I'm trying to remember.
Wow.
We were talking about our friends Dusty and Shelly. They've gone on a few picks with us. They went to this one. This was in Penelope, was still in, like, fully in Newark, New Jersey. And so we were like, what a great, like, time, like, go hang out in New York for a few days and stay in Newark and do a pick, And the brothers that own Penelope are awesome. And that was fun going to pick that for sure. Side story, the drive from our Airbnb to Penelope, I thought there was like 6 times where we were going to get murdered for sure. Like straight, like awful East St. Louis. Like I'm not joking. We were in this Uber. One, it was hot as shit out there. It was in June, but it was hot as shit there that weekend. And the Uber driver was like, sorry, my air doesn't work. So she has all our windows down, right?
Naturally.
Right. So we're driving and I'm sitting on the passenger side rear. And we like pull up to a stop sign and there's these dudes sitting outside of a store in chairs. And one of them has just a long gun sitting across his lap, just hanging out there. And I was like, we're not in a good area. I don't think this is great. And I was like, the Uber driver's taking us to go get murdered for sure. Like, this is something that's going to end up on Dateline.
Yeah.
Well, my wife will watch it later.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I knew that guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got there and it was fine. We had a great time at the pick. But yeah, so we ended up picking two barrels because we were completely split. And there's only 4 of us, but it was literally split 2 and 2. 2 of us liked the toasted better. 2 of us liked an architect pick better.
Mm-hmm.
The toasted the architect pick was my favorite of the 2. And then the toasted was my wife's favorite. So if she's listening or if she ever listens, she'll be happy to know.
Well, Lindsay, we're doing this for you.
She'll be happy to know that hers made it here. I think this was 2000. I think it was 23
So we're going to drink this for Lindsay.
that we did this pick.
Well, behind every good man is a good wife.
Yeah.
That is 100%.
So this one's for Lindsay.
Trust me, I mean, our wives are
Cheers.
taking care of kids right now. And we're
Here's to Lindsay Grillo
There we go.
for putting
Thank you,
up with
Lindsay.
Mike and the kids and also the business ventures.
That is 100% true.
And
None of it would have happened
correct.
without her
Yes.
there for sure.
Yes.
I mean, is stuff stressful on me doing that? Yeah. Is stuff equally as stressful on her? Yeah, because she has to take on way more of the
of
home
course.
duties that I would have been there to help with,
Of course.
So,
Yeah. I mean,
that's like the blind side of business ownership that like, not a lot of people talk about is how hard it is on the spouse. So
she's
been
awesome.
I mean, he knows it because, he has to go to the firehouse for 48 hours.
I do.
And, his wife.
Same deal.
She's
like a single mom for a while, right?
For 48 hours. Yeah, she's a single mom for 48 hours. And then I have the lawn care business. So when I come home, I got to cut grass. And then, then I got the bourbon stuff and the whiskey brand. And it's just like, so kudos to the wives out there. You guys are rock stars that support your husbands.
100%.
Without you guys, we couldn't do it. So
without my wife, none of that would be up there.
Yes.
Because,
so,
I wouldn't be able to do anything.
100%.
So
there we go.
Wives are amazing.
Yeah.
Truly are amazing. So
this is the Penelope
cheers, fellas.
Toasted.
To me, this is toasted marshmallow in a glass.
Toasted marshmallow.
Yep.
They're
I mean, dude, I get a toasted marshmallow right out of that sucker. Man,
their toasteds get like so much of the like oakiness without the tannin of the oakiness.
Oh, yes. Agreed with that.
That's a fantastic whiskey.
That is very good. Very good.
Well, yeah, this is pretty young too, I think. 5 years. 5 years? Yeah.
Is it
Probably why I
really
like it,
young?
Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go.
Like
That's a
Yep.
oh my god, man.
Yep.
It's a
115 proof.
Yep.
5 year. Dude, we've done so many picks, man. I can't even keep them all straight anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
Like you pulled that up, and I was like, oh man, I haven't had that in years.
I almost brought the Knob Creek 9 year. Dude, you remember when you did that?
That was our first ever barrel pick.
Oh no shit!
The Knob Creek was our first ever barrel pick.
God damn it!
So I
pulled it out earlier. I was like, I got a Knob Creek 9 year, and I thought I had the Armagnac. Well, I do, but it was in way back. But I didn't pull that out. And then I saw the Penelope. I'm like, dude, I got to pull the Penelope out.
Yeah, so I called him. I was like, hey, tonight let's do all Grillo picks. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, I know
There's enough to choose from.
There's shit tons.
It's like, I got at least 4 or 5. I said, I'll pick out a couple. You bring a couple. I'll have Mike bring 1 or 2. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so I will tell you.
Man, should I brought the Knob Creek 9?
Hey, man. I think we can do more at least.
Yes, that's always
We
true.
can do more.
That's always true.
It's not difficult to be like, hey man, you want to be on a podcast and drink bourbon? Like,
And promote your business.
You're right.
this sucks, man.
Well, as we wrap up here, I think all of you listening and watching us at home can see that every bottle we tried tonight was killer. So clearly this guy knows what he's doing. If you've not been to Grillo's Chop and Barrel, if you haven't checked out Birdies and Barrel, if you haven't followed them on Facebook, follow on Facebook. Check us out. They're also a brand new sponsor of this podcast, so Barrel Room Podcast. We appreciate the support that you've given the Barrel Room. And we also want to thank our other sponsors, Fallen Brothers, Crafted Spirits, as well as the Barrel Room Bourbon Club. But check out Grillo's. It's right there in Lake St. Louis. Most of you that are listening or watching this right now are within 15 minutes of that place. Take it from my wife. Their meat is phenomenal.
Yeah.
To Mike's point, you can go get Deerbergs and maybe get meat a little bit cheaper, but it's the quality and you're supporting a local business.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather pay a little bit more for better quality and support someone local like that than go into a Aldi or Schnucks or Deerbergs or whatever. But check them out. Chop and Barrel Grillos. On behalf of the Barrel Room Podcast, we thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also, if you haven't checked out the Barrel Room Bourbon Club's Facebook page, we have new membership opportunities available. $10 a month, you get put into a raffle for a $100 bottle or more whiskey that is sponsored by Grillo's Chop and Barrel. We also have 2 other membership tiers. There's $1 a month just to support this podcast and the work and the effort that goes into it, as well as the club, where there's a free membership that gives you access to our Barrel Room Bourbon Club events that are held last Thursday of the month at the Post Sports Bar and Grill in Lake St. Louis. So cheers to Mike Grillo and all that he's done for all of us.
Cheers, fellas.
Check him out on Grillo's.
Don't forget to subscribe and share.